All right, welcome back, guys. This is DDP back for another edition of Mavs Fastbreak, joined by I don't know what that was.
I was trying to see how good you're.
The fluid motional show there. The question is if you're moving on screen for them as well.
Oh.
So I'm not sure on that, but we'll find out. So
Anyway.
Luka Legend, I dig it. What's up? Can't catch him first in the house. Man, my ratio on this is all janky. I'll figure that out later. No time to deal with it now. Kent is the first in the house.
Hashtag Luka Legend, yeah.
Yep, Luka Legend. Yep. All right, so we got.
By the way, Enyi Nduka here because Darreck didn't introduce me.
Not because you were doing that weird thing with your jaw. So I was just like, okay, you don't need an introduction, clearly.
Cool.
So yes, we got a lot of Mavs stuff to talk about here. Obviously, we have the first. Well, we have the All-Star starters named in this case.
Yes.
So we got a lot to talk about there. There's obviously plenty to be a little bit upset about with how that worked out.
Yeah.
How close Luka came and all of that.
Very close.
Yep. And we'll be talking about that, the participants for All-Star Weekend. And, you know, I had the thought as well, maybe we should revisit some of those predictions we had preseason because we're at the mid-season point now.
That is true. Yeah.
I mean, technically we're past the mid-season point, but I think it would be interesting all the same to kind of review and see how we feel about that, where we kind of stand, all of that. And
yeah, before we get into that, might as well like our video, subscribe to the channel, visit our many different links, represent
yep, for the closing. You also Luka Legend's not up currently.
We sold out, man.
Yeah,
y'all too slow.
But yeah, if you guys want Luka Legend, if there's demand for it, we'll bring back the Luka Legend shirt.
Just like the McRib, baby.
we're better than the McRib.
Yes.
But let me see here. Let me find these predictions. So. Let's start off talking about the All-Star voting, how close Luka came to being an All-Star starter. Do you have, or are you able to pull up the vote count that he got exactly?
Man,
I know he was third in All-Star voting behind just LeBron and Giannis.
Yeah. And
I feel like it was something like he got 4.2 million votes.
Something like that.
Yeah, so it's crazy how good he did in this case, and we knew he would do really well in the fan vote because obviously a EuroLeague star and all of that. We know that how much that factors in, and the fans account for 60% of the voting in this case for the All-Stars. Then you have something like 25% going to coaches and the media or the players. Then
players, media, and I think the coaches.
Yeah, and round out the last bit of it. And it sounds like in terms of All-Star starting, the only thing that kept him away was 6 player votes kept him from being a starter, and instead then we wind up with Kevin Durant. Who are the other starters we got here?
For the West, we have LeBron. Kevin. You had James
Harden.
Yeah, James Harden.
Curry.
Steph Curry, and I think that's it, right?
Davis?
No, Anthony Davis could be coming off the bench, which that's crazy.
Okay.
Freak, I can't remember off the top of my head because it's not in front of me currently. But I know the East has Giannis. It has Kemba, Kyrie, Embiid. What was that last one? I don't know.
I'm not as worried about the East. I can pull it up,
East.
But it's one of those things too where it's crazy. I think maybe with regard to some of the players, I think maybe there was a little bit of reluctance to kind of get behind Luka in this case because, as Kent points out, there's something to the notion of hasn't earned his stripes yet, which is a ridiculous statement, but the perception effectively is that they don't feel like he has done enough to earn it over guys like Durant and LeBron and all that. LeBron's missed 16 games in a row with the groin. How is he a captain in this case when he's not even able to you know, to play in these games. Yeah.
Who knows if he's going to be...
Freedom Roar, 6 votes. Man, I knew I should have pushed my friends to vote. No, it has nothing to do with that. Like I said, Luka was third in fan voting behind only LeBron and Giannis. There you go. Paul George, yes. How did I not get that one?
That's a good question. He's been balling out this year.
Yeah, no, Paul George deserves it. I'm not saying that.
So for your starters for the West, you got at the guard positions, you got Steph and James Harden, and at the front court positions, you got Paul George, LeBron James, and Kevin Durant.
And that's what it boils down to, because it tells you how many times they've been All-Stars as well. The fewest All-Star appearances out of any of them is Steph Curry with 6.
Steph and Paul.
Yeah, Paul as well, 6. Your thumb was in the way, so I couldn't see his.
My bad.
But yeah, so that's the perception of what it came down to. And fan votes, like I said, third most, something like 4.2 million votes he got, only behind LeBron and Giannis. That's not it at all. It had nothing to do with fan votes not being enough. You could have had 20 million, and it wouldn't have changed the outcome in this case, because they had to round out the rest of the votes for how that all weighs out, and they decided that it was going to go to the players. 6 players not voting for him over some of these other guys. Paul George, yeah, like you said, he's having a great year. He deserves it. But it does suck for Luka to be that close.
And it's kind of funny how, I mean, they kind of scrutinize the fans a little bit, just because we've done some wacky things in the past, like almost voting in Zaza Pachulia. But these players, there's a lot of, I guess, evidence you could say that these players really don't take the voting as serious too, because there's some guys that were getting votes that haven't even played in the NBA. I mean,
Boogie got thousands, and he's played like 3 games.
Boogie got a couple of votes from the players. Kostas Antetokounmpo hasn't even played a minute in the NBA, and he got 3 votes. Some other players who have barely done anything, like Kevin Love, he's only played like 4 games. Yeah, he's gotten 4 votes from the players, mind you. And this is not the fans who I understand the fans who are fans of a certain player who might be a little bit obscure, like Boogie fans. They're going to vote for him even though he hasn't played until a couple of games ago. But, the players voting for Kostas Antetokounmpo, who's been, the 3rd best player on the Texas Legends. Yeah. And he's getting three player votes. It's kind of weird, but whatever.
It is what it is. The thing is, they're still going to have good representation in All-Star Weekend.
Better than what we thought.
The thumbnail above our heads here, we're going to have Luka in the Skills Challenge. He might still be a reserve, by the way. There's still a chance he gets in. That hasn't been announced yet. Do you want to go on your rant on that? Do we want to telegraph that?
What?
Your rant about when they're going to announce the...
Yes.
Yeah, the reserves.
Can someone please go... someone on the chat, can someone please let us know when they're going to announce the All-Star reserves? Because I tried looking that thing up, and all it was telling me was the day the draft was. And I know, and that's on the February 7th, and I've heard him say they're going to announce the reserves sometime this week, or if you count Sunday as part of the week, this week. So
it is one of the 7 days.
It is one of the 7 days, yes. For some people,
in short...
And I have a right to know.
Can't catch him, baby. Thank you. Wait, were you answering our question? Can't.
I think he's answering. Maybe.
I deserve answers.
I deserve answers. Damn it. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thursday. Kent. Okay. Thank you, Kent.
Dude. I was seriously looking. I was going on so many articles, and they're like,
there you go.
Boom. And it's been confirmed.
Yep. Okay. So we got Thursday for that.
Micker 45.
Yeah, it looks like Micker 45. Yeah. So Thursday will be when we find that out. Luka could still make it as a reserve. In the meantime, we know we have him in the Skills Challenge.
Yeah.
First time I'll watch that since maybe the first year they started doing a Skills Challenge.
Hey man, Skills Challenge is not that bad.
It bores me to tears, but Luka's in it. I'll watch.
You want to do like I don't want to say like a watch party, but like a hangout, having the game on, watching it. While
are you wanting to roll out characters for commentary? Because that's a brilliant idea.
Okay.
We can develop this.
We can talk about this afterwards.
They don't know all of the stuff that I'm doing, but a little bit of it's been intimated. Not a whole lot.
Okay.
So we're not going to get into too much,
you
but
might be on something
there's something there. I think that would be a really interesting way for us to do commentary in the future.
Yeah, we can.
Trevor Hackenberg and... My sources are telling me that was a foul.
Yeah, I pulled a tweet like that too. I was like, sources are telling me Mavericks are going to be targeting Boogie Cousins in the offseason.
Nice.
And it's like, sources is my gut, man.
Yeah. So yes, Luka in the skills challenge. Dennis Smith Jr. will return to the dunk contest. I think that makes sense for Dennis because of all the distractions and bad press he's kind of had around him lately.
Grandma. So apparently, according to Dennis, out of his mouth, it was his grandma that convinced him to
go back to the dunk contest. Because if you recall in the preseason, he said he would not do the dunk contest this year, even though it's in Charlotte. It's in his hometown.
Yeah, and rightfully so.
Or,
too,
area.
That was last year.
He got messed over last year. For sure, because
I hope they change the judges. I don't want no freaking
I hate when you got like Paul, or no, not Paul.
DJ Khaled,
Mark Wahlberg,
who's like 5'8", who's never dunked in his life.
Yeah, and it's all about the show. And in that case, I felt like Dennis made his dunks look so easy last year that their response was to be like, nah. And it was his first one that messed him over because he did a double clutch and like got no credit for it. So even though he got a perfect 50 on his second dunk, he didn't win for total points.
And then what's his name? Donovan Mitchell jumped over a slouch down Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God! Wow.
Yeah.
Like,
I hate that. I hate that.
He basically just jumped over a stool. Are you kidding me? Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Hart is like 5'3", probably standing completely straight up.
Right.
And if he's on his knees, he's no higher than half of this desk. So that's where we are, people. But hopefully that changes this All-Star weekend. Hopefully Dennis brings the freaking heat. And puts on a show, and then before that, ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend.
Is he a myth? I mean, he's been around for a while. We kind of know what he is.
Pick his nose.
Wait a minute.
Pick his nose.
Dirk Nowitzki will be in the 3-point contest.
Yes.
He is a previous champion. That was 2009?
2006.
It was title year? I thought it was like 2009 was the last time he was. Maybe it was the last time he was in it.
No, he won. When he won it was 2006. He might have done a couple more.
He had one year that he won it where people argued, if you remember, because the replay showed the buzzer went off and the ball was on his fingertip, and they're like, "We're not going to have instant replay on All-Star Challenge weekend." How serious do you take this?
They should, man. But I can't wait. I mean, I know like the question everyone is asking, of course, is
better not half-ass it, old man.
25 shots or whatever. But you know what? Let's just enjoy it. I think this is pretty much just writing on the wall.
So what you're saying is Dirk.
Better not half-ass it, old man.
No, nothing but love, Dirk. I don't know how far he'll go in it, but it's cool to see him involved in All-Star Weekend at all.
I think this is pretty much writing on the wall that this
Isaiah
is
Hunt, first live stream since like early December. Hey, welcome back, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Whatever that emoji is.
Like A-OK?
A-OK.
I mean, if it was like this, it'd be that thing where he's trying to, like, you punch him for looking or whatever. You remember that stupid?
Yeah. Good times in middle school.
Yeah.
I'm afraid the poor guy will never make it to the 5th rack.
He might not. I mean, he might get winded, but
he might just win. He don't need the 5th rack. Damn it. That's freaking.
Like I said, it's cool. It's cool as is just having him involved because he's not going to be involved in any other capacity.
No.
He never got to fulfill that dream of his of being in the dunk contest.
We don't know this.
He said it jokingly.
No one else has confirmed.
And even Luka kind of tweeted or whatever that Dirk and him had qualified or whatever for the dunk contest. That was funny. But yeah, so the Mavericks are going to have 3 representatives on All-Star Weekend. Let me take a look here at what we were talking about when we did our preseason predictions, because I know one of them involved specifically All-Star Weekend and how many representatives the Mavericks would have.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Before I bring that up too, I can go a little bit of the people.
Over under 2.5 representatives. We both said over actually, so we're right.
Huh.
There you go.
Thank God, because I looked at the first one.
Oh, you looked the first one up here? No, that's the wins. Yeah. What? All defensive, I know.
Jeez.
Yeah. All right, so let's revisit. I don't have the graphics to throw them up here, but here are some of the over-unders we had.
Can we preface this with the comment that we got?
Okay, yeah.
The dude. Okay, so we get some funny comments sometimes during the week, And I don't know what this guy was talking about, but from what I gathered from what Darreck showed me is this guy went back. Don't know his name, whatever, but he went back in one of our older videos. I think
it was like the day after Luka was drafted.
The first podcast we did after we drafted was Luka, and he was calling us lazy because we predicted that Luka was going to average around 14 and 15 points, and the guy, by the time he showed me, this was like yesterday.
This one that came in. The comment came in yesterday.
I know, like I was trying to put a timestamp.
Oh,
but when you messaged me yesterday about the comment, it was probably around 8 o'clock or something.
Yeah.
Last night, and that comment was only an hour old.
Yep.
It's saying that Luka's a 14, 15 point a game or whatever. He's like, you guys are lazy and stuff like that. We're like, what?
Basically saying the research was out there and that we didn't do the research, and therefore we totally missed it and we suck at our job. To which I didn't even comment back, but my thought was like, okay, so I told you this. My prediction was somewhere between 14.5 and 15 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. That was my prediction for Luka's rookie year.
Yep.
I've been wrong. I acknowledge that. He's right now just a shade under 20, something like 19.8 or 7, something like that. 6 rebounds, 5 assists. I was otherwise on the money.
Yeah.
And for the mentality of, oh, you were a few points off on that, you're lazy. Like, all right, well, you do you.
Whatever, man.
Yeah, you do you. I can play Monday morning quarterback too and go back 6 months and say a lot of people were wrong about a lot of things.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. People are always going to talk.
Included in that list is Luka Doncic himself, because he said that he's surprised on how well he's acclimating to the game.
Yeah, he didn't think he would be this good this fast in the NBA. So, when even Luka says that, I feel like you got to acknowledge.
But we're lazy, bro. There's no excuses.
Yeah,
no excuses.
Yeah, when the person who would best know was wrong.
So let's go ahead and go over. We did some predictions at the beginning of the season.
All right, so we had the Mavs record over under at 40 and a half wins. You went under, I went over. You're going to win that. Yes. I feel pretty confident.
Okay.
Now, a lot of these, whoever answered first, the other person went against them a lot of the time because we wanted to have this discussion. Yeah. We wanted this to be a challenge. I feel like you're probably going to be in the best advantage at the midway point. Yes. Dirk, over under 11.5 games. We both went over. That's a double wrong. Let's see. Luka winning Rookie of the Year. I said no. You said yes.
Boom!
Yeah, and the reason
he didn't believe. He's lazy.
The reason for that thinking was because you've only had 3 people ever be drafted number 3 in the draft and win Rookie of the Year, and I did a whole article about it, saying this doesn't mean anything. It's not like it's like, oh, that's a lockdown. It's not like that's a lockdown.
I freaking love Kid.
This is a perfect example of one of those where, because one of us went first, we're like, well, we have to disagree on more than 2 things so that we don't have a tie.
We didn't want it to be just like a freaking...
Yeah, we didn't want it to... It's not fun if you both say the same answer to everything. So, yeah.
I took Luka, he took the field, baby.
Yep. You've pretty much already won that one. That one's out.
Unless... something catch.
Dennis Smith Jr., leading scorer for the Mavs. You said yes.
Boom! Damn it! And boom goes.
Yes, you said Dennis would lead him in scoring. I said no. Therefore, we're tied. Wesley Matthews traded, waived, or kept. We both have traded. That one, jury's still out. The deadline is what, February 7th, I want to say?
I believe so, yep.
Yeah, so that one, jury's still out, but we both have traded on that. DeAndre, over under 15 rebounds a game.
I think he's at 16 or something like that?
Pull it up, because I think he's at 15. I think so. That one's a tough one because we should have said like 15 and a half boards. That's one where we didn't specify the half rebound difference or whatever, and it might hurt us because I think he's already locked in at like 15 right now. But even if it's 15.1, we'll have it right. What's it got?
13.9.
13.9. It's down. Okay, so yeah, that's a push though for us. It's either both got or both missed anyway, so it doesn't matter. Luka, over under 6 rebounds. You had under, I had over. What's Luka's current?
6 assists.
6 assists, that's what I meant. Sorry, 6 assists.
Damn it.
I believe he is at 5. So right now I think you're correct.
I think I'm in the lead.
And he's in the lead, I believe, in that point. Hey, T. Yuli, what's good?
5.3.
Luka's at 5.3 assists per game. But we have recently seen him shift to the initiator of the offense, and his numbers are ticking up. So there's still a chance I could crawl back. That. Yeah, it was like 4 something.
It was like a high 4s.
Yeah, so there's a chance I could crawl back into that that particular category.
I'm not putting on that Rondo jersey, dude. I went to a game.
You're gonna have to.
When I took my family out to the Mavericks versus Oklahoma City, I saw a dude in a Rondo jersey. I'm like,
I should have brought him on the show.
Should have. Like, what are you doing? Anyway,
here. Okay, I got to find the right drop for this before I read this one.
Hilarious,
it does not give.
I'm gonna preface this, guys.
Oh, you know what? No, you know exactly what one it has to be. It's got to be. Damn it, where is it?
We're gonna have to preface this. Okay, we are lazy.
Okay, way to throw that out there.
According to that dude, we're lazy. Have you found it yet?
Somehow no.
Okay.
Somehow. Oh, here it is. All right, long drop. Here we go. We both predicted DeAndre Jordan. Will he make the all defensive teams? And now teams. This could be second team even. But would he make it? We both said yes.
Is there a third team?
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Please God have mercy on your soul. Yeah. So
oh my God, we had DeAndre making an all-defensive team, both of us, and it was because of that logic. We're like, hey, second team. I think there might be a third team.
Yeah.
Surely you can do that.
We might need a fifth team for him.
Oh man, we might need a G League team for him to do that.
Golly.
Oh, that one hurts. That one hurts.
All right.
It's a push at least, so at least we can ignore it, but we can never unknow it. Do the Mavericks have over under 2.5 representatives All-Star Weekend? We both took over, and hey, we're right. They got 3, as you see above our head, and Luka might pull double duty still, which I would argue is a 4th.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 3 people. Well, now we said representatives.
3 people, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Hopefully it doesn't get to the tiebreaker.
The tiebreaker. Who gets... How did you choose this?
Because you probably said Luka first.
The tiebreaker. Who gets more All-Star votes? Dennis Smith Jr. or Luka? You took Dennis Smith.
It was close, man. It was close.
4.2 million to, I don't even, 4?
I think Costa's got more votes.
It was probably Dennis's family that gave him the votes. All love to Dennis, but if it comes to the tiebreaker, I have demolished you in that category.
Yeah, hopefully.
And I don't know why. It had to be because I got to vote first. Because
yeah, probably.
I don't even know if it did, but it should have, because on international vote alone, that was all given for me. And I think when I said that at the time, you're like, oh no. Okay.
Yeah, remember that one. We were just trying to find something. It took us forever to find your tiebreakers.
Yeah. So to be clear, the bet that's on, you referenced it earlier. Mm-hmm. Whoever loses has to do a Dallas Prospect live event wearing a Rajon Rondo Mavericks jersey
or shirt.
No, jersey.
I'm not freaking buying a Rondo jersey.
Hey, these were the stakes. And you have to do you have to appear on a recorded show as well with it. Ugh. And you have to do a social media post tagging Rondo. Those were the stakes.
Hey, I think it's anyone's ballgame.
It's anyone's ballgame. We're right there. But those were the stakes. It was that, or I had to sacrifice the beard was what people wanted. And that is one thing I will not give you.
Oh my God. Why not, bro? I'll shave the beard on.
Bro, your beard is like
heavenly. I know. Go ahead and say it.
No, man, that's not a beard. That's like shoe polish. That's
me. Tripping. I'm about to be the next James Harden in this mug, bro.
I don't know about James Harden.
Just give me a couple more weeks. Like 2 weeks.
Freedom Royal, Rondo jersey, have mercy. That's exactly the point. We had to think of the thing that would be the most painful for us, and that's what we landed on. And I think that was because someone mentioned the video I did about the worst trades in Mavericks history.
Yeah.
And Rondo, of course, was on that. And so someone called back to that and said that's what we needed to do. Yeah. So that's what's on the line, and that's what we could be facing. But
Cam Hicks.
So let's see.
Sorry, I was calling
go
Cam Hicks. He had a good one. Call up Ray Spalding. Ray Spalding has been balling out in the G League, folks. God, dog.
Yep. We got Macon called up at one point.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, he got some points even. First career points. That was cool.
2, right?
I think so, yeah, free throws.
Layup.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I don't know why I thought it was free throws. Regardless, so let's see. The over-under, you're on pace for that one.
Got it.
Dirk, we're both off, so that's a push. So it's 1-0 you. So, yeah, we won't count ties right now. Rookie of the year, that's 2 for you. Mavs, leading scorer, not Dennis, that's 2-1. That's going to be me. West traded, that's a push. DeAndre, that's another push. Assist, that one's in your park, so you got a 3-1 lead there. All defensive, that's a push. Push. So, yeah, you've got a 3-1 lead. I don't even think I can close the gap, actually, looking at this, based on what we've got. The only way I could do that would be if... No, I think we had too many ties. I think more than likely you're going to win that one. That kind of sucks that we're already done with that. I mean, yeah, you're happy because you don't got to do the Rondo jersey. I know, but you get what I mean. That kind of sucks that we're already in a position where at the midway point the bet is kind of settled. The best I can do is cut it to 3-2. It is what it is. End of the year, that's what we'll be. Yes, smash the like button, as Kent Ketchum says. It's going to mess up the flow of the graphic, but I'll throw it up there for a second. Enyi, your face is blocked out.
Oh, no. Get off.
Subscribe, hit the like button, all that jazz. So that's where we're at on that. So let's talk about some of the other stuff here, some of the more recent business going on with the Mavericks. Let's talk about Dennis Smith
returns.
I totally missed that beat. I was gonna go, Junior return.
Oh my god!
I'm glad I hesitated.
Baby. Yeah. After how many games? 6 games.
6 games out, I believe. Yeah.
He was sick. Bad back.
Yeah, sore back, which I thought actually harkened back to the Rondo situation.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of like a little bit of shade from the organization. Did you pick up on that? Because you remember when Rondo got sent away, it was, hey, he has a sore back or something, or an undisclosed back injury. Yeah. So when they said back for Dennis's time away from the team, I immediately had that thought of like, ooh, I feel like they're throwing shade.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm reading too much into that, but that was how I felt about it. So, I'll let you lead off with this. So, talk about Dennis and his return, kind of what we're seeing.
Their first game they had Dennis back was against the... Who they play?
They played the Clippers first.
They played the Clippers, indeed, yes.
And then Detroit.
They played the Clippers. Dennis Smith...
because DeAndre had a good game.
Yes. No one time. And then Dennis Smith actually played pretty well, numbers-wise. Not the most efficient day.
He started rough. He started like 1 of 6 shooting, and it felt like he was very trigger happy. But he had a rust to work through, and I think he was a little bit amped up because of in the return coming off all the drama and all the will he be traded, will he won't, is the relationship with the franchise and Carlisle and all that ruined.
And of course his stomach was, he had a stomach bug.
Yeah.
So happy he's not sick. Did you hear people saying that? Like, Jordan was like, so happy he's not sick anymore.
Yeah.
That's funny. But anyway, so I think he went 17 points on 6 of 17 shooting. Not bad.
Something like 6 rebounds and 3 or 4 assists.
8 rebounds.
8 rebounds and like 4 assists.
Something like that.
I'll pull it up, but keep talking.
And then, a really good game. I think that was the Luka Holt game. Where he went ham on his jersey.
That was a weird game too for Luka because he was people read a lot into that game because Luka was really struggling to shoot, and so much so he didn't go back in the fourth quarter until there was like 3 minutes left.
Yeah,
and people are like his body language.
People went ham on Dennis Smith about body language. Luka's body language was like, damn.
They swung back, and what people were reading into in that was to say, oh, well, he's clearly upset about this arrangement.
Nope.
he's not happy with that he's not getting the ball more and all this Dennis drama. And Dennis getting as many shots as he is. I don't think that's the case. I just think he was having a bad shooting day.
He's been having. He's
not
just a shooting day. It was carried over for a couple
he's
of
had
games.
He had 3 or 4 games at that point where his percentages weren't good. One of those, yes, he gets his first career triple double, but it's not an efficient shooting.
It was like a Lonzo Ball triple double, 10 points, 11 rebounds,
18, 10, and 11. Something like that.
Actually, that's better than Lonzo Ball triple double. Even when Luka's having a bad game, he has a better game than Lonzo Ball. That's the guy. That's our guy, guys. All right. Anyway.
Yeah. So Luka, as you like to say, Kent, wardrobe malfunction. Tried to pull a Janet Jackson out there.
Having himself naked by the end of the song.
Yeah, even with the pasty.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Don't read too much into that. I get people want there to be drama for some reason. That what they read
because it makes for juicier headlines. That's where you have where you have the major sports networks drubbing it up.
What's his name? Trevor
Hackenberg.
Hey, Trevor Hackenberg. Yes. Yeah. I almost want to make a Twitter.
I was just about to say, but you don't announce that though. It just organically shows up. I want to get to the point where our people take the bits that we have and start making the accounts as well.
Yeah.
And they'll start making like, you have like sports fury quotes, like fan accounts and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff where it's ridiculous out of context that pops up.
But he was just frustrated with himself. Don't read too hard into that. Luka is definitely, guys. This is what I respect about him. Even being as young as he is, I think he still puts winning first.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if he's having a bad game or a good game, whatever. If his team loses, he don't care.
Dennis 17, 8 and 4, 6 of 17, 1 of 6 on 3, 4 of 4 at the line, +9 on the game. Luka, meanwhile, 17 points, 7 boards, 6 assists, 5 of 15, 0 of 8 from 3 though, 7 of 10 at the free throw line.
+/- 9
for Luka. 2.
Okay.
Dennis was a 9.
Yeah, sorry.
So Luka had a frustrating game in that way, and like you said, he'd been in a funk. I just think he was in a bad mood about that. I don't think he's upset about Dennis, but he did give a little bit of a very frank answer. A little bit of a very frank. That's contradictory.
Yeah.
He gave a bad, some people would perceive, answer talking about the Dennis thing in the locker room after the game. When asked about the Dennis Smith situation, he said, basically, I'm just glad it's over. It's a bad look for the franchise. It's a bad look for the player. It's just bad all the way around. I'm glad it's over with. Which, it's really frank, and it's like, okay, who is he casting the blame onto in that situation? I don't think he's trying to throw Dennis under the bus. I think if anything, he's frustrated with both parties, like Dennis and the organization.
I mean,
because
he's like a newcomer in this, and I think this is the type. I don't think you get a lot of this stuff over where he came from. I'm just speculating. I have no clue.
Someone's going to correct you for that.
I'm pulling a Trevor Hackenberg. I'm totally pulling a Trevor Hackenberg. So whatever.
Yeah.
But
they've never even heard of the character until this stream, so they have no idea what you're saying.
Trevor Hackenberg's a fake character he made up. That's basically like what's his Nets? That's
Jason McIntyre.
Jason McIntyre. Basically a fake Jason McIntyre. That's the guy we created. But anyway, so whenever I bring up Trevor Hackenberg, basically
national media guy who's going to weigh in on something without any real input or analysis, he's just going to give you 2 cents based on a gut feeling, I guess.
Exactly. So, but they don't look like they conduct themselves overseas like that. So he's kind of like looking in. He's like, I don't understand what's going on. Why is Coach not wanting to play Dennis? Why is Dennis acting like he's sick? He was just happy that thing is done, and he gets a good player back, and they continue playing with a good player, and he wants to
make playoffs and everything. He wants playoffs, and he knows they need Dennis.
Yeah,
and I think part of it too, some of the frustration you can say that maybe he does have to some degree with Dennis in part is that when he was drafted, he was like, hey man, we're pairing you with this other guy we drafted the year before. You two are going to be the faces of the franchise. You're the foundation upon which we're building this block. You guys are going to run together 4, 5, 6 years at least. And they market it like that. They wanted it to be like 10 years together.
Exactly.
And then halfway into the future is now and all that.
Yeah.
And they're
5 games in.
They played together less than 30 games on the court, like together on the court, and then suddenly Dennis's advisors and agent and all that are telling him, "Hey, hold out, force a trade," and it's like, I think Luka kind of maybe looks at that and like, dude, what?
Yeah.
Like, we hang out outside. We're friends. We get along. Our girlfriends hang out and get along. Why are, like, I thought we were riding together. Why are we suddenly, why are you bouncing? So, like, you want your own team? What's happening?
Some of the, I guess, hypothesis or whatever, it's like the agent that is representing Dennis Smith it's not a very big agent. I think the next biggest client he has is Jay Crowder, and that's it. So he has a fear that Dennis
won't get much career earnings, which then funnels back to him for his cut.
Maybe that, but the one I've been hearing is that Dennis would get lured away from him and go to a bigger agency. So he's trying. So
he's trying to get on his good side.
Get Dennis to to go.
That could backfire though, because if he sends him to like the Magic, yeah, he might be the guy. But if the Mavericks reload around Luka in a way, because that's the talk that they're like, hey, maybe they get a couple veterans to shift it. Because as I talked about on last week's show, I feel like part of the issue is that Luka being as good as he is now, I think that shifted the Mavericks thinking. They were dragged kicking and screaming into a rebuild, and they're like, okay, fine, you know what? Rick's like, I don't like playing young players. I get it. As of last year, I had to start doing it. I don't like playing, especially young point guards, but last year forced it. Okay, we'll be patient with Dennis. We know he's raw. He's got a high ceiling, but we know he's raw. It's going to take time. Then Luka comes in and sets the world on fire, and now they're like, bro, we might be able to just throw a couple veterans with him and be in the mix next year. Yeah. And I think at that point they're like, we still want to be patient with Dennis. I think they should, but I mean, what I think clearly doesn't matter. We know they have a tendency to give up on young players a little too early. And again, it sounds like a lot of this is coming from his advisors and his agent.
Yeah, here's how I look at this with the whole either keeping Dennis or building around Luka with the veterans. What would you rather have? Would you rather them fall short of the playoffs but showing growth with Luka and Dennis, or going to the playoffs, making the 8th seed with a bunch of veterans, probably not old veterans, but 27, 28-year-old veterans, and going to the first round of the playoffs only get destroyed by Golden State, or building around Luka? What would you rather have?
I mean, in that case, you want the future that's brighter, and so you're going to say you want the younger team that might not make it yet, but has time to grow and continue to come together.
I mean, if our two main pieces are 21 and 19.
Yes, exactly. But that's the question in that case, is T. Yulee joining Golden State? No. No. I've heard people saying that lately, and I'm like...
Because he did the freaking workout with
who cares?
Steph, whatever.
Yeah, it's one of the best basketball players in the world. I get it, but... I don't think Luka's wired to just go chase rings by being like, hey, Steph, I'll go join your team. And, I mean, they would probably have to get rid of, like, Clay or something in that case, but it wouldn't be Luka's team. And I'm not saying Luka's got any means of ego where he's like, oh, no, I need to be that. But, no, man, it's... Okay, back to my other point, transitioning off that, because I don't think that's anything to it. And even if... There's no way it's happening for like 4 or 5 years. Mavericks aren't going to trade him. You think the Spurs dug in on Kawhi for 2 years? Mavericks wouldn't give up Luka for the world at this point.
Nope.
I mean, Luka would have to like set fire to the locker room and say, trade my ass, for them to be like...
Pull a Rondo right now.
Yeah. I'm not worried about that. But back to your point, it depends on what veterans you get in that case. Now, the prevailing trade theories that have been out there lately, and this to me is too pie in the sky to happen for one, let alone both of these guys getting paired together. And it'd have to be 2 separate transactions, one of which would guarantee at least Dennis would have to go, and I know that's an immediate hang up for you. But the talk about it has been getting a Kemba Walker, for instance. The Mavericks have been interested, trying to contact for it, but the Hornets are reportedly wanting to hang on to Kemba. Kemba Walker is a player who I think has a bit of a comp to what Dennis maybe could be, except I think Dennis has obviously better high-flying skills and all that, but kind of that little bit undersized point guard who can score and is a score-first guy. I like Kemba a lot. I would be excited about the prospect of adding a Kemba Walker. However, I don't think he has the same high ceiling. The difference is you're looking at a guy who he's already pretty close to his ceiling, whereas Dennis, we don't know if he's going to reach a level of a Kemba Walker, and that would be the difference. It's taking a known commodity who's still pretty young and who can make your team 26, 7, something like
27, 28, I think.
Okay, well, that's still I'd say young enough for what the new Luka window looks like at this point.
I guess.
I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't. I mean, I don't want to trade Dennis either, but I would not hate that if it was part of a deal for that. Mm-hmm. And it sends him to his home team as well. I think he would like that.
Yeah.
I think it would work out for both parties if that was the case. And then, as it pertains to the other option, this one would have to be a deal somehow involving if we don't know what the whole deal for. It's not like it's Kimba for DSJ straight up. Obviously, money doesn't work out that way and all that. But the other discussion, and I've seen it pitched out there a way that they could make both happen, would be a Blake Griffin. Now, Detroit does want to get out from the Blake Griffin contract, I've heard. Yeah, I know. That they are interested in getting out of that contract in the first place. Okay. You saw his exacerbation the other day where... Did you see that thing with Reggie Jackson and him? Where Blake post-game, they won the game, and I can't remember if... It's not Doris Burke, I don't think, but someone is talking with him, and he is like being really honest about his frustration with the team. Like, guys not taking it seriously, guys aren't working as hard. And Reggie Jackson does not read the room at all. Walks in like photo bombing, like just doing all this like goofy ass stuff. And Blake is just looking at him like, my point exactly. And I think he even says something to that effect when Reggie kind of steps out of the way. He's like, yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like, he is frustrated. He wants to win. He's like, bro, I don't want this. It's cool if you're doing this and we're winning, but when we're a crappy team, or at least not a really relevant team, he's like, I don't have patience for this. And so, yeah, Blake wants out of Detroit.
That's hilarious. He was almost kind of the king of that when he was in.
Yeah. But I think he's at a point, like I said, he's at a point where he's like, dude, look at my numbers. I'm doing everything I can. I've done the immature, just
loving life,
exactly,
hanging it loose.
Yeah, at some point you have to be like, look, I want to win. I want to go somewhere, and it's not going to happen here. I don't see. So there's talk that he wants out of Detroit, and I think Detroit at one point was referenced to be interested in Dennis as well. Based on the grounds of, I think they accept, hey, Reggie Jackson, not really a great pickup for us. So, maybe there's something can be done there. You got to assume you're probably also losing, like, in one of these two deals, let alone if you pull off both, a Barnes and a Matthews. I know a lot of people have been pointing out here in the comments, they think the issue, chemistry-wise, isn't necessarily Luka and Dennis. They think it's the effect of Wes and Barnes.
I think more.
Do you want to go into that a little bit?
Well, I don't want to say people are beginning to realize that, but I think that's the opinion more people are beginning to take after seeing Dennis come back. And we get 2 straight wins in a row with Dennis and Luka both. Yeah, kind of showing out because Luka had a triple-double, even though it wasn't his most efficient game. But he did put up 32 points against Detroit that game. And also Dennis Smith actually had a really good efficient game and put up numbers too. And Wes put up really 0 against Detroit, and Harrison put up 9, and we still got the win. So people are like, maybe it wasn't Dennis or Luka. Maybe it's Harrison and West. So more and more people are beginning to take that opinion, and I'm probably one of those people. I mean, we have to be real. Harrison, as much as we love him, he's doing good. As much as the Mavericks love him,
he's a consummate pro, and he was the first part of this rebuilding process. I mean, we're not even where we are currently if we didn't have him, but as we've been saying, I don't think there's much future for him beyond this, even if the franchise loves him.
I think he's at
a black hole.
He is a black hole. I think he's at his peak.
I think so.
And maybe, because we're looking at, as of right now, we're probably, if everything stays the course and we don't do anything drastic, we're probably looking at a 3-4 year plan to where the Mavericks can actually be legitimate title contenders if every card is played correct. Get off my back, don't at me, people. But if every card is played correct and we actually have we have good off seasons, people take the steps that they need to take, and we get the kind of players that we need to get to build around Luka and Dennis. By the time that happens, I think Harrison is far below his peak or whatever, and he's not the kind of player that can be a third best player anymore. Right now, he can probably be a third best player on a championship team with good pieces around that. But now,
Cam Hicks comment.
What did he say?
He's talking about you.
Wait, where?
Can't mix right there.
Guy next to is a mix between.
That's why I hit the record scratch.
Hey man, F you. Really? Did you see that? I don't care. Whatever.
Yeah. You just need the Karate Kid headband.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's becoming a new thing.
I've seen it a lot lately.
Anyway, oh, whoa, Say's chill out, bro. Anyway.
Well, I've been talking about that too, but we'll get into that in a second.
Depending. It's only 2 games in.
Kimba is no starter. Are we talking all-star game or in general? If Kimba Walker's here, he's the starter.
Yeah.
I think they're talking all-star. Gotcha. Yeah. It's because of that. Yes, he has a starter in the East, and it's because he's in the East. If he's in the West, he is not an all-star.
I guess
he's not an all-star if he's in the West.
He's an all-star if he's in the West. What do you mean?
Kimba?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. He'd be a wild card, but who else would be above him? I'll put him.
Who is the starters in the West? Would you put him above James Harden or Steph Curry?
No. I said he'll be. You said he wouldn't be an all-star.
I was talking starter. Okay. Because that's what they were talking about.
Okay, yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I think who's our all-stars? Steph and James. Yeah, he wouldn't be.
No, he would not be.
No, but he'll be an all-star.
We haven't named reserves, so I was going off of their conversation.
Okay, my bad. Yeah. What were we talking about again? Harrison Barnes not being the third player. Yeah, he's not. He's not the third player. I think we need to try to get.
That would have been a perfect time for the NWO drop. Hogan's the third man, but Harrison Barnes is not the third man.
So yeah, I don't think Harrison's the dude. I think we need to move and get as much as we can for him.
I agree.
And because I mean, as of right now, he's averaging like 18 points a game, something like that.
Yeah.
He's shooting very well.
He's got a player option too after this year
for $25 million.
Yeah, I thought it was like 27.
I think it's 25.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Regardless, he's going to be opting in, so it might be harder to move him.
Yeah.
We saw that last year with West. We couldn't move him at the deadline.
No.
Because people knew he had another year on the deal and they didn't want to pay. Yeah. Now you can move him because he's an expiring contract, and I think there's going to be an absolute market for him. Plus, his numbers are much better this year than they were last year.
That's very true. Yeah.
I think it absolutely could scare him off, and that's why I don't think he gets traded. If you held the sports gun to my head right now, I would say Barnes does not get traded this year.
Yeah. You don't need to hold the sports gun to my head. I'll just say he's not going to get traded. But I think they need to. I think they need to explore. If not for the trade deadline for offseason next year, I think they really need to hold off on trading Dennis and actually get people who are younger and who are better suited for building around Luka and Dennis. I don't think we need to switch up our whole perspective in terms of what we need to build our team around, because it's not just Luka. We can build around Luka and Dennis.
Yeah,
those are 2 building pieces.
Yep.
Luka, obviously the bigger piece, no question, none about it. I mean, no one else on this team has gotten 4.2 million votes spanning from across the globe.
Yeah.
No one else was 6 votes shy of being an all-star starter. But Dennis, if he plays his cards right, if he learns the things that he needs to learn, i.e. a floater, because he still doesn't have it, he will be a very dangerous player. And then you're looking at the defense. You have to have your best perimeter defender against Luka, because Luka's Luka.
Yeah, the mismatch.
And then you have the second best, probably against Harrison, maybe. And then you're talking the third perimeter defender against Dennis.
Yeah.
It's barbecue chicken.
That's why. That's what we were talking about coming into the season. I think part of what's helping here, as the Mavericks are trying, and it's Dennis and the Mavericks working together, kind of trying to kind of rebuild his value, because I don't know that they can salvage their relationship. That's what I wrote about for Dallas Sports Fanatic. I think it was just last week.
Let's hope they can.
I guess just last week. So that article's still up there. It actually got picked up on Bleacher Report. Can the Mavericks salvage their relationship with Dennis Smith Jr.? I don't know if he can come back from it at this point, because he was right at the brink. They escalated trade talks. They were trying to move him to either Phoenix or Orlando. Neither came about because they smartly said, hey, we're not going to take 50 cents on the dollar for what we're doing it. We know that he's a top 10 lottery pick from last year. We know the kind of ceiling he has. It's just they just have to figure out what to do.
I think they can.
You're hopeful they can.
I'm hopeful. I'm biased too. Yeah, put it out there. I'm very biased, but
I don't know that.
From what I'm hearing, it wasn't Dennis that requested a trade.
No, him and his agent never requested a trade.
They never.
But they did kind of have him sit out.
Yeah, they did, and I don't think it was Dennis's idea to sit out. It was all the camp, or it was the agent in the camp.
Mm-hmm.
So if Dennis can probably, I forgot the term from standing your ground, another term for it, but I'll just go stand his ground and say, hey, I wanted to work out in Dallas because if he's, building a relationship with Luka, and maybe they start to win, and maybe they actually get close to coming to the playoffs, and winning cures everything.
It does, but I think there's more to it than that. I think when Dennis has come back these last couple games, I think the way that they have staggered the lineups a little bit, how Rick is kind of giving each guy their own run with the offense, I think, one, that's how it should have been done from the start.
Yeah.
Two, it's been mentioned in the comments, and you mentioned it earlier, the Barea injury situation, as horrible as that is for him, as sad as it is for him because he's, for the fans, because he's a beloved Maverick. It's still a good situation that it creates for Dennis, because now that second unit needs that role guy, and he can be that. You can still start Dennis, but let him run the second unit, just like they were doing with Matthews. That's something that you can do, and I think that opens it up for him, where he doesn't just have to share the floor with Luka all the time, and Dennis can still have his moments where he takes over, and if he's having a good game, he can keep riding that even when Luka comes back, and vice versa. It gives each guy a chance to run the offense, and it makes them harder to guard and harder to, just generally defend against. Yeah. I think there's a lot there, and I feel like they've been much better about that in the 2 games since he came back. And Carlisle's even talked about that. Like, specifically, he feels like that's been one of the big differences. And it's like, this is why we thought it could work.
Yeah. I know can't catch him. He says, trust this. Dennis doesn't want to be second fiddle to Luka ever. And I'm trying to put this in a way. It's not like he's second fiddle. He can possibly do some sort of mental gymnastics. He's not second fiddle.
Who's second fiddle in Golden State? Durant or Curry?
You really can't say.
Exactly. That's my point.
Yeah.
You can work it out.
Argue both ways. Who has more Finals MVPs? Kevin Durant. Who's definitely more important to the team? Steph Curry.
Yeah.
So that's the way it could work out here in Dallas. It doesn't have. I understand that a young guy wants to be the man, wants to be the guy, and everything like that. But I would take being a part of a franchise that's moving forward than being a franchise who's probably constantly not going to be able to make it in the playoff. Dennis Smith, is Dennis Smith even going to be the guy in Orlando? Is he? Or is it going to be Aaron Gordon?
It's probably still going to be
Gordon.
Gordon.
Is it going to be Nikola Vucevic, who's going off right now?
I think he's going to be gone from Orlando soon, honestly.
From
I think I can't remember. I think I think so. I think he's going from my Trevor Hackenberg. I think Vucevic. Don't quote me on it because I'm sure some people will correct me. I think he'll be. I can't remember if he's either going to be a free agent or if he's just a highly thrown out there trade name. I'd have to revisit it. I haven't kept up with it because I don't see any scenario where he lands in Dallas, so I haven't been paying attention to him specifically. But I would say even if Dennis went to Orlando, he might be more featured. But I think he can still. I think he can still be featured here.
He'll be the only ball handler in terms of when we say the point guard in Orlando.
Yeah,
Dennis. When you say the point guard in Dallas, we say sometimes it's Dennis, sometimes it's Luka. Most of the time, it's probably gonna be Luka because he's definitely better at being the point guard than Dennis is. If you want to run an offense that needs a more traditional type point guard, then you let Luka handle the ball more. And he might not want that, but if they keep winning, I can definitely see him change his attitude towards it. Being, I want to be a part of this. If they're going to feature him more, now if it went on like how it did at the beginning of the season when J.J. Barea was coming off the bench and Dennis was being subbed out first, and then the only time he came in is when Luka was already in.
Yeah,
and so he was never really the primary ball handler. Yeah, that probably got him. But because Barea went down and as devastating that it is, that's why I was saying this is probably the best thing that happened for Dennis.
Yeah, they were.
And now he's getting more times being featured as a ball handler, now he's beginning to turn up too.
That's what I was going to say, because before, we knew this was a transition for Dennis having to play off the ball. It's something he never really been asked to do before, but that's all we were doing with him before. It's like, that's why everything dipped. His scoring percentages, shooting percentages, all that were up, and his defense is light years better than last year. But he had stepped back in the sense that he wasn't running the offense, and even when Luka wasn't on the floor, you usually still had someone like Barea running the offense, and it's just like, okay, can you let me do what I'm good at some of the time at least? And now they're doing that, and that's why I think you see where it can work.
Like,
So, I think there's only, let's see. So on this subject and the Barnes one, people are pretty split, I think. I think the only solution here is to add a bonus bet payoff topic. It's whether or not Dennis is dealt at the deadline, because this has developed and it was not in the conversation before.
All right, whatever.
I'm going to say Dennis gets dealt at the deadline, even though I'm not happy about it.
What is an update on JJ?
Berea's out for the year. Torn Achilles. He's done for the year. His career is in jeopardy. I hope he comes back. I think he might be able to come back, but he's 34. It's an Achilles. That's about as hard as an injury to come back from as there is.
I think, didn't he get injured around the same time frame as Boogie got injured last year? Kind of towards
something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and Boogie this is probably what he played, 3 games since his return?
Yeah.
So, in Boogie's
he'll be out at least a calendar year, probably.
Yeah. If he comes back next year, we'll probably won't see him until late January, probably February.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, for the record, on this bonus topic now,
okay,
I already said it, the Dennis trade at the deadline. You're saying a no.
I'm saying no.
That's what I'm hearing, because you're hopefully staying.
Oh, no.
I'm taking a yes.
You taking a yes? Oh, yeah.
I'm taking a yes. Okay. I have to throw a Hail Mary out there.
Yeah.
If I'm going to get back into this.
He's trying to get back, because I'm way ahead of him in our projections.
And then
season projections. Yep.
And then I'm going to say Barnes is not dealt, and I'm just going to mark you down as a Barnes is dealt for no reason whatsoever. And save.
Nobody want that crap contract. Yeah, I put that out there too, because there was a report that came out earlier, I think last week.
Kings.
That Kings was interested in Barnes, and I was like, who can the Mavs even get if we wanted to trade Barnes and we were trying to get value, not 50 cents on the value, which we were hearing a lot with Dennis, but what can we get for Barnes that we can be either close to or equivalent value? And I put out there, and I actually tagged the MFFL equivalent to the Sacramento Kings, which is Sacramento Proud, and I put Harrison Barnes for Bogdanovich and Willie Cauley-Stein, and I got destroyed. I'm still getting comments to this day of people are like, hell no, we don't want freaking Barnes. We don't want Barnes, especially not for Bogey. They call him Bogey. That's his nickname over in Sacramento. Yeah, so I don't think that's happening. I tagged the Mavs Moneyball equivalent to for Sacramento, and they like him. They'll probably pay for him in the offseason once he becomes a free agent, but they're not going to give up any assets for him.
Yeah, and I wouldn't either, to be clear.
So
that's why I'm confused why you said that they would move him by the deadline.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough to move him. It'll be very tough to move him. Maybe next year, but not this year. But go ahead, put me down just so we can make it interesting. If he does get traded, though,
if he gets traded
for the rest of the year, just wear that round nose jersey.
Yeah. The stakes have to elevate if that's the case. Barnes isn't a passer. VZ kills it. Unfortunately, Barnes, his career high assist is 3. Hey, I think our view counter thing is way off again.
Really?
Yeah, check this out. Refresh it. Bring it back. Slap it on a biscuit. Slap it on a biscuit. There you go. It locks up sometimes. Annoying.
It does, 48.
I mean, this claims 51 down here, so who knows?
Take it. It's trade 101. What we can't trade him if he's not on the court.
Talking about Dennis. Yeah, no, that conversation's still been going on. Talking about the body language, can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. That whole thing.
What?
Yeah, you know,
he can't fake toothpaste back in the game. No, yeah, you're definitely right. If anything, let's try to restore his value or whatever, and then try to trade him and get something good for him. Whatever. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm very biased. I'm gonna be as transparent as I possibly can. When it came out that he wanted to get that he was gonna sit out and that he was quote unquote sick, I was definitely disappointed in the whole situation. And I was kind of blaming you guys.
That's a good way. That's a good way to get likes and subscribes.
Everyone who kept talking about trading Dennis and stuff like that.
We're up over 50.
Oh, nice. Everyone was talking about trading Dennis or whatever. They brought it into existence. They did a freaking LeVar Ball and freaking spoken into existence. Now might get traded and stuff like that. I'm just like, everyone just relax. Just relax. I understand that we have Luka. I understand that we're excited about Luka. But let's not throw others, the baby out with the bathwater. I'm not sure if that metaphor even worked with this situation. But
I think
let's all just calm down. We still have to be patient with Dennis. Dennis is not Luka. Luka has been a professional basketball player since the age of 16.
So, yeah,
Dennis has not been.
Right. Dennis is liked in the locker room. Dennis loves his teammates. Dennis got his tooth knocked out in a game and still worked his ass off to deliver the win. That was a game without Luka as well. And he did it on the defensive end, too. That's what really stood out to me in that game. And I have nothing but love for Dennis, but I do think that he is getting some bad advice, and I do think he is buying into this idea that, hey, I'm not saying I want to trade, but I'm not going to be upset if I get traded because I do see this potential for me to go somewhere else and potentially be the guy. And that does appeal to me, especially if we're talking about like Orlando. Why? I don't know. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. I hope he stays, but it's probably, like you said, toothpaste out of the...
Yeah, you're right, but let's not speak it into existence, man. Let's if we're going to the game, cheer extra hard for Dennis, make him feel extra welcome, and maybe he plays better, and then we don't trade him, and then he fires his...
The audacity of Dennis Smith.
He wants to stay in Dallas, and then we Dennis together, and him and Luka become co-finals MVPs, and they lift the trophies together at the same time and just go freeze frame like the end of Mighty Ducks. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Shut it down!
And Dirk is like, shut it down! Let's go home. Yeah, let's just have a good time, guys. Come on, man.
That should definitely be whenever we wrap up shows, the drop.
Oh my God! Oh! Shut it down! Let's go home!
I was going to do this, but MFL goggles on. Because, man, that was a dude. I mean, you can check my tweets if you go on my tweets, a.k.a. Enyi Nduka _DP. You can look February. It was February of 2017. February of 2017 when we traded for Nerlens Noel. And I was like, good job trading for Nerlens Noel. But you need a tank so you can draft Dennis Smith Jr. I said that February of 2017. I was saying in December 2016, when everyone was talking about Lonzo Ball and Markelle Fultz, a bunch of my other friends, we were talking basketball. I said, you know who I want, guys? I want Dennis Smith Jr. So when they finally
I was talking about Donovan Mitchell.
No, you weren't, you freaking liar.
I said this kid's gonna go after Dennis, but he's gonna be such a good player.
To be honest, I had Donovan as my number 3 as reasonable draft behind Malik Monk. So yeah.
All right.
I just didn't want Lauri Markkanen. I was wrong. I was like, he's not gonna be another Dirk. Stop it. No. But yeah, you did turn out to be. Anyway, what else do we have to talk about?
Let's see here. So we've run through the basics of that. I think we've pretty much covered the bases of what we outlined.
We got Mavs versus Toronto tonight. That's gonna be a tough one.
I'm
Are
answering.
you saying that because the dude said I look like Draymond? Is that Draymond?
No.
Can you talk for yourself, please?
I was saying that's not why. You asked 2 questions before I could answer the first one.
Oh, my bad.
I was saying nope. That's not whoever said you look like Draymond. I was just pushing this for yes and nope because you're like, I think they got a game tonight. And then you're like, but I don't know who they're playing. And I'm like, nope. Like,
Has he come back from being
Yeah, he's back from the concussion, yeah.
Yeah, he got dunked on.
He got knocked out in the air. He got, like, elbowed in the face, knocked out, and then just busted his head. That was scary, man.
That dunked on.
Yeah, oh, no, he did. But
Came down.
he was already unconscious.
Oh, yeah, but the force of the dunk was so bad that it concussed.
Yeah.
Knocked him out. That's how bad.
I mean, he's lucky he didn't fracture his skull. That was
anyway. Stop trying to make me feel bad, bro.
Stop trying to make me feel like a bad human being.
Gosh,
he nearly died. Like
that's what I'm trying to say, Kent. If DSJ and Luka turn into the nastiest backcourt, I'm all in. As long as our Mavs are smoking teams. Yeah, I'm good, baby. Luka, according to the old dude who trained
Steph Curry's trainer.
Steph Curry's trainer. I was supposed to say Scurry.
Scurry.
Yeah, whatever. The dude who trained Steph, who doesn't have a name, he's just known as Steph Curry's trainer because he said this.
I feel like you didn't do your research. Lazy.
Yeah, exactly. We said the same thing about Dennis when he was training Dennis this offseason. We were like, Dennis Smith trained with Steph Curry's trainer, and I'm like, yep, that's his name, Steph Curry's trainer.
I think that's legally what he's changed his name to.
First name.
Raptors today. Do we beat the Raptors today? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say no. Wait, it's already taken too long.
No.
I think it'll be competitive.
I'm gonna put my MFFL goggles on, and I'm gonna say yes.
No.
Why? I have no idea. Actually, you know why?
Uh-oh.
Because we're gonna freaking start Maxi Kleber, freaking Wes Matthews. And our starting line is going to be Dennis, freaking Luka, freaking Harrison, freaking Maxi, freaking DJ. And Maxi's going to block everything at the rim. DJ's going to get all the rebounds. Luka's going to get all the assists and buckets. Dennis Smith is going to dunk on all 5 of the players simultaneously. And then we're going to win the championship. How this all happens, I don't know, but it's going to happen. I don't know how we go from one game to a championship, but this is how thick my MFFL goggles are right now. We're going to win.
That doesn't make sense.
We're going to win the championship. Okay?
That doesn't make sense.
Hey, I don't care. I'm so sick and tired of Maxi not being in the starting lineup. Damn it. What does he have to do? What obligation do we have that Wes Matthews has to start? He didn't play for a couple of games. We won those games, I think. Am I correct?
When I woke up this morning, I was feeling
talk for yourself? Damn it!
I'm trying to hype you up.
When I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
He didn't play a couple of those games. We won those games. I'm not gonna get interrupted.
Feeling dangerous. Woke up feeling dangerous. Woke up feeling
anyway,
dangerous.
Yeah, Wesley didn't play a couple of those games, and we won.
Yeah.
And he comes back, immediately inserted back in the starter. Like, what is it? I understand that we love him, but what did... I don't understand. Explain to me. Rick, if you ever come across this podcast / YouTube video / whatever thing we are channel that we broadcast on or whatever, explain to me, please. I don't understand. I don't know you. I don't know the way you think. Obviously, you're better at your job than I am at your job. So explain to me, how does Wes Matthews automatically gets the nod to be the starter when you have guys like Maxi who are just... Anybody challenging Maxi at the rim,
He's the best rim protector we have.
bruh, by far.
Mm-hmm.
And we got DeAndre Jordan on the team, who's supposed to be
Hey, if we played the Clippers 82 times a year, he would be really good.
DeAndre Jordan, NBA 6-team all defense That's him. That's how far we gone. He's not second or third no more.
Kent just inspired me for another drop. He says Kawhi Leonard's either getting dunked on or step backed on.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for the why not both? That little girl with the taco shell commercial or whatever.
Exactly. Why not both? Let's just go happen. It's gonna be great. And the Mavericks are gonna go to the offseason. We're gonna get freaking Boogie. And we're gonna say bye-bye to DeAndre. And then we're gonna let all the defensive stuff Maxey take care of. And then we're gonna have Boogie as our center. And then we're gonna win a championship. Boom. And we're gonna repeat.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're gonna three-peat. Yeah, that's gonna happen. MFSLs stand up. Dennis is our future. Luka is our future. Maxi Kleber's our future. Hopefully Boogie's our future. Championships are in our future, people. There's no more no man's land. There's no more rocking starting lineups with freaking Jameer Nelson, Chandler Parsons, and Samuel Dallenberg. No more. Those days are done. We're going to build a team. We're going to be the next dynasty. And we're going to win multiple championships. And it's going to be beautiful.
To be clear, which Sammy Dallenberg era are we talking? He was here twice.
We brought him back twice, damn it. That's how deep in the weeds we were in. Golly.
There you go.
Anyway, let's get you guys out of here.
Take that with you. That's on your rant. That was, I split it up for some reason.
Okay, anyway. But yeah, it's 4 or 5.
Yeah, so we've been rolling a while. I think that's going to do it for our time, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already...
People are like, I'm out this guy. He's speaking nonsense now.
If you haven't already, like this video, subscribe to the channel. We have a lot of great content. Enyi and I were actually just working on some brand new, pristine content for you guys. Stuff that we have never done on this channel before. Stuff that nobody else is doing. Because frankly, nobody else can do what we do.
Nobody.
So we're going to be rolling out some new content here. Look for that next week. In the meantime, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, whatever you want to do. We'll have updates. If you want some new content, some behind-the-scenes stuff, some bloopers, and some other content we're rolling out, that will be available to patrons, even if you're at the $1 level. You'll get early access to this new content we're going to be rolling out. So we will roll from there. But until next time, guys, that's going to do it for our time. Always remember, Enyi,
every legend was once a mountain prospect. Damn it.
Woo!
Championship.
Oh my God!